Oh yeah, I'm still talking about CPS like I was yesterday with my other videos. There's too many parents suffering at the hands of CPS. It needs to end. You always hear people talking about child trafficking. Well, CPS has a way of doing it with court orders. They tell judges all kinds of lies to get the children they want. They don't care if you are a good person or not. They just want our kids for the money they get off of them. Something really needs to happen to stop this. I mean, we have been hearing about what some foster parents have done to the kids they get in their care. And then there's ones that when the child is taken, sends the mother into a bad depression, she ends up killing herself. And the child died as well. Us as parents need to voice our concern about what CPS is really doing to our kids. But not only to them, but to us as parents as well. They make us fight, and we fight so hard that it breaks us to where we want to give up on everything. They expect us to always keep going on after they have taken our precious children out of our homes. They don't think about anyone else but their pockets. They don't care about age, race, or gender. They just want more money in their pockets. They don't even care how good your job is. All they ever care about is money. There are times where they make the parents divorce in order to try and get the children back. When they take the children away, they make the children go into therapy saying that the children were mentally and physically abused. And the children become guinea pigs for new medicines. In fact, my oldest son was put on a medicine that ended up being recalled. What should that say? My oldest son used to get out of his bed in the middle of the night just to get into bed with me. And when the first foster mother told the worker on my case that he would get out of bed, they told her to put an alarm on his bed. What kind of treatment is that? There was visits that we would go to, and my oldest son would have bruises on his thighs. There was a time after my visits stopped that we got a letter in the mail stating that they watched my boyfriend slap my oldest a week after the last visit with my kids. What I don't see is how that is, since we don't know where they are. CPS gets away with everything, and if we fight for our kids, we become the bad people. If you hire a lawyer and don't use the court-appointed lawyer that they give you, they threaten you until you fire that lawyer and get a court-appointed lawyer. CPS tells you that children are a privilege and not a right. They make you sign a paper at your first meeting stating that they can do whatever they want with your children. They do this so they can drug and tell our kids that mommy and daddy are no good and that they will be getting new parents very soon. They also tell children that the real parents don't and never did love them. And after they stop your visits, they will tell you that you will never see or talk to your children again. What they need to stop and think about is what if the children needs blood or who knows what, and the bio parents are the only good match that can be found. Or what will they do when the child turns 18 and goes looking for their bio parents after finding out that they are in fact adopted, and that the people they have been calling mom and dad are not their parents, their parents after all. What if the children start realizing that they don't look like the people that they were raised by? Or better yet, what if they have questions about family history? Or what if your child dies after you stop seeing your children? And the only way you find out is by Googling it. They tell you after you hand over your children for the last time that you will never know anything about them ever again. That you have to act like they were never yours to begin with. They expect you to be able to move past the hell they put you through just not to have your kids back home with you. When a woman goes to the doctor for another pregnancy and you get asked how many times have you been pregnant before, and you tell them how many other times and talk about how the pregnancies went, it makes you feel worthless because you no longer have anything to show for the other pregnancies now. Nothing but memories, and when you're going through the stuff in their rooms, everything brings back memories, and with a new pregnancy brings new worries and nightmares. What they don't realize is they are giving us PTSD. It makes us feel as if everything we do is no longer good enough. And if you have their pictures either on your wall or on your phone, and someone that you just met asks you about them, you think to yourself, like, what am I supposed to say to them? I myself have had this happen. It's not a good feeling at all, because you never want to be judged by anyone for what happened. But you know, no matter what, that everyone is now going to judge you, because yes, there are times where the children do need to be removed, like when the parents are druggies and care more about getting their next fix and not about getting their children what they need. They make you take parenting and budgeting classes. Sometimes they make you take UAs. They tell you that you need to go to therapy and talk about every aspect of your life. There have been times that if you are 21 or younger, the judge will tell you that you are not old enough or mature enough for kids. They tell you that if you don't have a car, that you won't be able to take your kids to the doctor. Sometimes they will tell you that if you were a child in need of care, that you yourself cannot take care of kids. They tell you that, in fact, that if you sign your rights over, it will look better on you. And if you appeal the case, they will have you jump through more hoops. They will even drag it out for years, and you may not get to see your kids while you are doing it. They falsify police records saying that you either stole from someone or God knows what else. They will make up whatever lies they can to make you look bad. They will turn around whatever someone else says about you into a negative, or say that you never did any of your court orders. You aren't allowed to voice anything in court, or that you will even make you look bad. You may think that once you get home visits that they don't supervise that it won't be long before they are home. Well, think again, because that is not always the case. They will fill you full of hope and dreams that everything will go back to normal. They are tearing good families apart for profit. The foster parents get at least $1,000 a month per child, and if your child gets disability, they get that as well. You won't be able to go to any doctor's appointments as well. And if your child goes to the hospital, yes, you will get told, but when you go see that child, the nurse that you ask what room they're in will tell you that you will have to see if the parents are in. Like you're not the one that gave birth to that child. They treat you like you're nothing. Yes, you will get to see your child every day that it is in the hospital. But it's still not fair, because once they have the child in their custody, you become nothing. The child is just a number and money. They need to realize that they are more than a number and money. Their hearts and souls are reason for waking up in the bed, are reason for everything we do. We should be the ones to teach them things that school don't. We should be the ones to see their first steps, first words, first everything. We should be the ones to dress our kids, bathe our kids, buy their food, clothes, and school supplies. We should be the ones that take them to the doctor. Birth parents should be the ones that do everything with their children. Yes, like I said, there are ones that do not need to have children at all. Yes, there are people out there that pawn their kids off onto others to go do whatever they want. And some of them leave their children with others for days, weeks, maybe even longer before they go pick them up. They may keep them for a couple of days and then do it all over again. I know of a woman that had put money, yes, money, or men, before their children. And they look like they get to keep their children. Then you have parents that do drugs. Well, what have I noticed is that they will get clean and stay clean until they are done with CPS. And when their kids are at home and after their last visit with CPS, they will go back to doing the drugs. Sometimes in front of their kids. You know, I have always made sure that my kids had everything they needed. My boys both had a dresser full of clothes, and the closet they had was also full. They each had 6 pairs of shoes. Clean room all the time. And when my oldest was walking real good, I started teaching him the basics, like where trash went, where dirty clothes go, where his cup went after it was empty. He even started helping me load the washer on his own. He would always put his toys away before nap and bedtime. I had started teaching him how to make his bed and working on potty training. That was stopped the minute they took my boys out of the house. In fact, one of the officers that was there manhandled me before they even took my boys out of the home. Left bruises on me and even took me to jail. I only spent an hour in there since I was pregnant. No, the officer did not get into trouble at all. No, I could not press charges against him either. It's like they only want the people that work for major world-known businesses to have children. In fact, the people that got to adopt my kids, the woman worked for Hawker Beechcraft. So yeah, they make good money. In fact, the day they put my daughter in a home was the same day that they got their license to foster children. And my daughter was there first. She couldn't go into the same home as her brothers because the lady that had them was a woman in her 60s. She was not in the state to get up in the middle of the night with an infant. But as soon as my oldest was out of school, they moved the boys to where their sister was. The couple that ended up adopting my kids was already telling people that they were their kids. And when I would talk to my worker about it, they would just say it's nothing and not to worry about it. The med doctor they had me seeing was giving me medicine that made me want to sleep all day. I only took it once because that's not what I want. I should not be doing with 3 kids. Granted, I only seen my kids once a week for an hour at a time. I never got to go anywhere with them. There is so much that I don't want to do with them. Do with my kids, but I no longer can. It's not fair. I watch other mothers enjoying spending time and doing stuff with their children. I cry every time I go by a park. Walking by the children's clothes and toys is even hard to do. Sometimes I freeze up before I walk by them, but I usually try to walk fast by all that stuff anymore. I no longer like the holidays. For the longest time, I didn't even get out of bed. I ate all the time, so yes, I did gain a lot of weight. I let the house that I had found that I could afford get dirty. But then someone gave me good advice one day, and it made me look around and really open my eyes. They may be able to change my children's names, but they can never change DNA. I am the one that carried them for 9 months. I am the one that had to have C-sections in order to give birth to them. I was the first heartbeat they heard. Mine was the first voice they heard. I am the one that kept them safe. And did everything for 9 months. I am their mother, no matter what some piece of paper says. Yes, it is just a piece of paper stating that the people that have them now are their parents. My boys will always wonder what they looked like as babies. Stop CPS.